Well, good day. This is going to be how to add text effects, and you can turn your text into a three-dimensional text like this, and it's got a shadow in the back, and it looks pretty cool. And I'll show you how to make it. You can make those. It's very easy. I have some examples to show you. So you can do something like this where I filled it in with a picture. I filled it in with that $100 JPEG file that we have. Or you can just fill it in with a single color and maybe give it some sort of a gradient. So here's the directions I wrote to help you get going with this. The first thing you want to do is just put in a text box. And I think I'll just put maybe a simple one right here. I'll go to the Insert tab. I know you can't see that, but Insert, and there's a text box, and draw yourself a little box. And we'll type the letters HI exclamation point. And that looks pretty good. The first thing you want to do is change each letter to a bigger font. So I'm going to highlight just the H, and I'll change it to a larger font size, maybe 80, enter. Then I'll do the I, and I'll highlight just the little I, and I'll change it to something bigger than 80, maybe 120, enter. Then I'll highlight just the exclamation point, and I'll change it to something even bigger, maybe 160, enter. And now I'm getting something. So I'm going to highlight all three of them, and it's going to change the font. It says Impact is a good font to choose, and I've tried several fonts. Impact works fine. So go down here, and I recently used it. I'll just choose it again, Impact. And I'm starting to get it a little bit. It says turn the shadow on, but you don't really need to do that. The shadow's right here. And they'll get shadows of their own. The major thing is to use this thing called text effects. And text effects are under the Format tab. When you're on your text box, you'll get this little tab called Format. Now go to Format, and it has text effects. And there's lots and lots of text effects to choose from. One of them is shadow, and I'll go to shadow and I'll change it to some perspective. It says perspective diagonal upper. See if it pops up here. Even if it doesn't, you can just play around with it and get the one you think is right. I give that a click so I can get some good shadows going there. I got the shadows even going off the slide. That's pretty good. I'll change the 3D rotation, it says. So I'll go to text effects, 3D rotation, and I recommended the Heroic Extreme. I think it's this one down here. And you can choose any one you want. You know, play around with it, see which one's nice. If you don't like it, you can always change it later. But this is the one I chose, Perspective Heroic Extreme left. And then it wants to choose a bevel, so I'll highlight my letters. It's starting to look pretty good. It's also a text effect, and there's bevel choices, and there's lots to choose from. You can choose any one you want. This is the one that says Cool Slant. I thought that was pretty good. And it's nice. And you can choose any one you want. Finally, it wants me to choose the bevel depth, and so that's the real key to the whole thing, is to set the bevel depth. So let me get on that thing, and I'll highlight my three letters, text effects, bevel, and underneath bevel down here at the bottom is 3D options, and this is where you can make the letters look like they're really thick. And it says recommends a depth of 70 points, and so I'll go to the depth. Right now it's 4.5, which is really small. We'll change it to 70. And you see it's all going to be black, and we're going to have to do something about that. I'll say close. What you want to do is change a text fill so you can change your letters to a different color, because if your letters are black and your shadow is black, you can't see the letters anymore. So I'll highlight the letters and I'll change the font color. That's on the Home tab. I know you can't see the Home tab, but I'm on Home. And I'll change it to some other color. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a blue maybe. Let's see if that's going to look good. I'll choose this blue one, and we'll see what we get. Click off of it. And hey, I think that's looking pretty good. Finally, it says you could change a text fill, or you can make it into a money fill. You could put a picture back there. I'll show you how I did that. I just highlight these three letters again, and I'm going to go up to Format, and this time instead of doing the text effects, I'm going to do this one called Text Fill. And under Text Fill, you can change the gradient, or you can change it into a picture if you want. I think I'll choose, I don't know, maybe one of these. It doesn't matter. You can play around with it, make it look good, whatever you think looks good. Then when I click off of it, we'll see what it looks like. Hey, look at that. It looks great. So maybe you can make something like that. Give it a try. Play around with all those text effects and have a blast. That's about all there is to it.